I find so much value in seniors. I feel like seniors, their last years should be their best years. Mm-hmm. They busted their tail all their lives to take care of us, to take care of our parents, to take care so much. Why not have their last years be their best years? And when I walk into some of these facilities, I'm like, I want to live here now.
Welcome to the Brand Hustlers Podcast, where innovation meets ambition and stories of success inspire the next generation of business leaders. Each episode, we dive into the journeys of those who hustle, those who make their dreams a reality, and those who are shaping the future of business. Whether an aspiring entrepreneur, a seasoned business owner, or simply a dreamer with a vision, you're in the right place. So get ready to ignite your passion, learn from the best, and transform your ideas into action. This is where your brand story begins. Welcome, Brand Hustlers. What up, Brand Hustlers? It's your boy, Ryan Roundtree, also known as Tree the Creator. And we are here today with the awesome Erika McCullough. Going to bless the Brand Hustlers Podcast today. As always, I'm not going to say too much. Just going to hop into asking a few questions, seeing what it is that she does, why she does it, and ultimately what brings that hustle out of her. What's going on, Erika?
Ryan. Hey, everybody. So
me and Erika go back to high school, and when I tell you Erika was a firecracker.
Why does everybody remember me as that way?
Erika was not about to just let you roll over, get over on anybody, and it was just like, you know, you're gonna hear her out, not necessarily in a drama way, but you're definitely going to know that you pissed her off. You pissed her off. So
absolutely.
So Erika, today we are here because through the years, have seen the evolution into, you know, mom, entrepreneurship, even going further into. Let's start there. What do you do?
Okay, so I am the owner of Beyond Success Adult Care Referral Network. That business specializes in senior placement. And by senior placement, I am a certified senior advisor, and I help facilitate families to get their loved ones into a assisted living facility.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you end up there? Where did that journey start? And how did you end up where you are today?
So I was a medical adult daycare director for 15 years prior to COVID. And I've managed over probably about 100 staff within those 15 years. Mm-hmm. And I also grew the business from 0 clients to over 100 clients in the matter of those 15 years. From when COVID hit and the governor shut down all medical adult daycares in the state of Maryland.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, all the day programs, because they felt like it was, a hub for gatherings. Mm-hmm. And so it was no more than 10 people, at a gathering, and all of the restrictions. Well, adult daycares have over 100. So just like they shut down schools, they shut down adult daycare. In that journey, of course, I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen now? But I still had my job because I was a center director. But going into an empty building every single day, sitting at my desk doing administrative work, I was just like, this is actually peaceful. You got to think about it. I hustle and bustle every single day of over 100 people. I'm managing nurses, transportation managers, activities assistants. It's just a constant turnover of people. And to go into an empty building with absolutely nothing going on. So I was super peaceful. So I went home as a super peaceful wife. So my husband was like, what's different about you? And I'm like, what do you mean? He was like, you don't sit in your car anymore for an hour when you get home. Oh. You come straight in the door. You're happy. You're, bubbly. What's going on? I'm like, oh my God. I was showing up this person for this long. I got to make a change. So fast forward to, I helped them in, I think, April of 2021. The governor okayed for, for the facilities to open back up. And I started panicking like, oh, I ain't gonna be able to do this. I ain't gonna be able to do this. So make a long story short, I decided to quit. Time to go. My husband gave me the green light, and my daughter, who is now 21, was getting ready to graduate from high school. So I made it a point to stay for another additional 6 weeks to get her through that.
Okay.
And then the day she walked across the stage, I emailed my resignation that night.
So the husband gave you the okay.
Yep.
And it's like, it's time to turn the page. Right?
Yes.
So turning the page and moving into your own business, running your own business. And it's adult placement, right? Adult
daycare.
Adult daycare. Mm-hmm. Okay. What makes you different than, I would say?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, you're right. Adult placement is what I do now. Mm-hmm. What I did was adult daycare. Let me just be very transparent. When I left the job, I had no idea what I was going to do.
Okay.
No. So my husband
clients,
my husband is also an entrepreneur. So he was like, well, until you figure out what you're going to do, you can help me. Okay, cool. 3 weeks in, after I left, he was just, asking me, I was asking him, what do you want me to do? I'm not used to sitting still. I'm starting to have anxiety about sitting still.
I ain't making no money.
It wasn't even about the money. I'm used to hustling and bustling. I cannot sit here. This is driving me crazy. So he told me to do something like that our 10-year-old could do. Like, you can do that. I'm like, who? No. Transparent.
Give me a harder task.
This is not going to work for me. So anyway, I was like, all right, I'm going to get a part-time job. I took a part-time job in a position for marketing for another adult daycare center. And this particular center, I was just getting them to come in, get daycare clients. Mm-hmm. But people in that phone call that I was taking as the marketing director, they were asking me, do I know of any assisted living facilities? I'm like, no, I don't. But hold on. I went home. I told my husband, I think there's a market for this. He looked it up. It was a market for it. He built my website, and I got some business cards and went to town.
Okay.
That's how we got started.
That's dope. That's dope. So your husband, what does he do as far as being an entrepreneur?
He has telecommunication business. He does a lot. He deals with cell phones and laptops, and gotcha. But also is very intelligent and can also figure out how to make a website.
I was like, is he in the web development? No, he just.
That's a different conversation because I keep telling him, you need to do this. So yes, he literally built my website on his own and all of that kind of stuff. So yes, got into, just started marketing my business.
Okay.
Yep.
So fast forward to now, you're doing adult senior placements.
Yes.
And you recently just got into real estate.
Yes.
How? What does that look like?
Oh my God. We could be sitting here for days. Okay, so listen. 3 months after I launched Beyond Success, my mother's health took a turn for the worse. Uh-huh. She absolutely needed every single service that I had a conversation with God about that I wanted to offer. I didn't know I was going to be tested so quickly into the business.
Guide me, Lord. Give me the tools
I was
that I need.
literally tested. I launched June 25th because it was the anniversary of the day that I left my full-time career. And a year later, June 25th, 2022, I launched. My mother, her health took a turn for the worst in August. And when I say turn for the worst, she went to the hospital, couldn't return home. I had to sell her house. I had to clean out of her house of 30 years, sell her home, and place her into an assisted living, all in a matter of 45 days. At the time, it was so emotional that I couldn't see the vision that I needed to tag on real estate as well. But as soon as, I got her settled and all of that kind of stuff and went back to doing what I was doing, I got presented with another opportunity, same situation. A client that I was helping to get into an assisted living facility needed to sell their home in order to move into the facility. So this time I called an agent that sold my home, that sold my mother's home, and then now I'm giving her a referral to sell another house. I'm like, wait a minute. Now, because I'm out of the emotional portion of it, because now it's not my mom, it's someone else. I'm out of the emotional portion, and now I'm like, wait a minute. I just gave this lady these 3 referrals. Well, myself and 2 referrals. Mm-hmm. So, I talked to her about it. Sweet as can be. She was like, you need to get in real estate. She's like, because I cannot legally give you a referral fee without you having a license in real estate. Say less. That was in May. That was in the beginning of May. And by the end of May, I was in my real estate classes.
You ain't playing no games.
No.
No time taken.
I play with a lot of stuff except for my coins.
So you went from having to place your mother in assisted living, mm-hmm. having to go through the storm, and in this storm, mm-hmm. realizing things are coming together.
Yes.
As to what you initially prayed for or initially put on. I'm not sure if you wrote it down or anything like that, but that's.
They say be careful what you pray for.
Yeah, right.
I mean, again, I couldn't see it in those moments, but it is so crystal clear right now. What I also realize is how the level of connection that I personally have with every single family that I work with. One, because there are, when you are in that position, mm-hmm. it is a very emotional decision that most families are having to make for them, either themselves or their loved ones. We as people don't really make good decisions when we're making emotional ones.
Right. And I guess it just in conversations that we've had, mm-hmm. Just realizing the passion that has developed for seniors that are going through these types of things. I actually feel like kind of at ease, like even thinking about that, the whole process of, selling the house to moving into an assisted living facility. Mm-hmm. What advice would you give to somebody that may be going through a similar storm that you recently gone through, having to place your mom into putting her going to the hospital, not being able to take care of herself, mm-hmm. then you moving her into the system, moving her out. Like, what advice would you give in the beginning of that storm?
If I was able to give people advice as far as having parents, I don't care if they're healthy now, you need to know what your parents' income is. You need to know what assets they have. Sometimes our parents don't feel comfortable with discussing those things with us as the children because they feel like I'm the parent. You don't need to tell me, but even if you're advising them to talk to a financial advisor or a estate planner, those are the tools that you need. Know their passcodes. There's so many tools, because when I was going through all of that stuff, my mother, that her health was declining, but she couldn't. She was going through something as well. She was going through a transitional period, so she could not remember her passcodes. And I'm running around. I
can't remember my passcodes. So many. Like, exactly. I think you gotta get like 20 passcodes.
My passcode book is sitting over there. Yeah. But just those things and knowing, and I didn't know her income, because she didn't feel comfortable at the time sharing that with me, not just because it was her private matters, So, and one of the things that a lot of our parents struggle with is letting go, mm-hmm. Letting go or needing control, letting go of the control, and also just being able to verbalize that they need help. They look at us like we're the children, and that means that I have control and you don't. And when the moment that they have to rely on us, mm-hmm. it becomes a struggle for them to accept. So there's things that they're battling emotionally that we end up having to come on, I need this. So my advice would be for children to have that conversation now. Mm-hmm. Don't wait.
Gotcha. At this point, you've been to, I'm sure, hundreds, not thousands of facilities, assisted living, mm-hmm. nursing homes. What should people look for, as far as placing their parent in an assisted living facility or a nursing home or mm-hmm. whatever?
Well, for the first thing is you need to call me. That's number one. Number one. So let me give you a little bit about how placement services work. When you have a parent, if you had your parent or your grandparent needed help or assistance, what people do is call me first. They call me first, one, because I'm going to be able to direct them in the right way. The answer is not always they need assisted living. So I don't just have connections with assisted living facilities. I have connections for any services that you need, support in, whether it be home-based, home healthcare facilities, assisted living facilities, independent living facilities. There's so many different types of resources for seniors, and I'm just basically the one-stop shop. So what we would do is schedule a discovery call first, and you would tell me what you needed as far as services were concerned, and then I would basically point you in the direction. But when it comes to looking for what you're looking for in an assisted living facility, it really does vary based upon the person's needs, is their health and their wants and preferences. So if you have someone who is, more isolated and they don't necessarily need the activity portion, then I wouldn't direct them in a direction of something that's going to be loud and they may feel like that is obnoxious. Like, right. I don't like this, So it does vary, and there are over 1,500 assisted living facilities in the state of Maryland. So it is very difficult to make that decision, and that is what I find the most, that families just don't know where to start. Most, not all, but if you're in a situation where you're in a hospital, or if you're in a rehab facility and it's being said to you that mom cannot go home, which happened to me, but mom cannot go home and she needs to go to somewhere where she can be supported, you're like, what do you mean? And most social workers are definitely overworked and underpaid. So they would most likely just give you a list and say, here. And the list could consist of, if I was not in this profession, I would be going crazy.
Only reason that I guess I'm privy to know like the facilities out there is because being a firefighter or EMT, having to run these facilities, I get discouraged at the thought of, I hate nursing homes. Yes. Without a doubt, I don't care what nursing home it is. Yeah, I hate nursing homes. Yeah. But then just these different facilities where it's like they may not be getting the best care. I know we've had a couple conversations about that. And I guess I don't want to say, what advice you give somebody that has we show up on scene and there's a family member, a daughter, or like they're cussing at the nurses. They are irate. It's like he's been like this for 2 days, and they ain't changed him. That type of thing. Like how I hate to think that all these facilities are like this.
Assisted living and nursing homes are two totally different things, and most people do not know the difference. Assisted living is primarily private pay, where you're paying out of your pocket. Nursing home settings are government, for the most part, are government funded. So the staffing ratios are completely different, which in turn, of course, will determine how you're going to be cared for. If the staffing ratio in a nursing home is 1 to 10, but then you have a assisted living community that could be anywhere from 1 to 4 to 1 to 8, depending on what their policy is, you're going to get a totally different level of care. It's a total different situation. Typically, when you are in a nursing home, that means that you have met the standard for the government to decide that you qualify for this, what we call in healthcare world, level of care. And that typically means that you cannot meet your own needs. But assisted living is exactly what it is. It assists you to live. They have a lot of facilities that do that, but then you have some assisted living facilities that will take care of what we call your total needs, your total care. However, they're very pricey.
So someone recently, they're going through having to place their parent, and they're not sure what they need. They give you a call. I'm going to just do this discovery call. Hey, Erika, my mom, she's not doing too well. She's in the hospital. I'm trying to figure out what I should be doing right now. What is the process like? What is that process like?
So again, I do the discovery call. That's number one. And then I gather as much information as far as medical concerns or needs, a little bit about themselves. What do they enjoy doing? You know, what their living situation is at the moment. One of the biggest questions I ask is, and I learned this early on in the game, is does mom or dad know that this is the next move? I had a situation where in the beginning, I did all of this work, and then mom was like, I ain't going no damn where.
I'm still here. I'm still
right. And that is huge. Another question that I ask is if the children or family member are that person's POA, power of attorney, because if that person has dementia or if they don't, that matters too. You have to find out the whole entire logistics of the situation, because again, you cannot move someone against their will unless that person has dementia and has been determined that they are no longer able to make decisions for that's best for them. So all of those questions are asked in the beginning. And then from that, I'm able to either give them the resources they need to maybe put a Band-Aid over top of an open wound, because I get those as well. Or less they ready at that moment. Find me some facilities for us to tour. I get it either way.
All right. So how would the process look? We need to also get rid of my mom's house.
So going through that, I'm actually leaving here to go on a tour with a family who is in that very same situation. She's not, in any medical danger, but she knows, which I commend seniors who know it's time to go, to be involved in the choice to leave, which gives them a sense of control. And what I've experienced is that gives them combative about leaving when they still have control. They made that decision themselves. So what it looks like is that particular, what I call a care plan. Okay, you're deciding that you want to go. How do you want to go? Do you want to stay here until the house sells? Or do you want to leave first and then let the house sell? And everybody's financial situation is different. So in this particular case, she is financially secure enough to go to the facility so that she doesn't have to watch the house being broken down. There is less of a emotional, experience behind that, because that can be hard for a senior to watch too. I've raised my children in this house. I've had my grandkids in this house, and now you're demolishing what I created, and that is that will make a senior decide that they're not going to leave, but that also means that they are way more vulnerable to us, to a dangerous situation. So in this case, she's going to move into the facility prior to the home being sold.
So is that dependent on if they're able to afford it before selling the home, or is that a factor?
I got my tool belt. I got my tool belt.
I'm just asking questions. Yeah. I'm like, hey, I ain't really got the cheese, but if I can sell this crib, then it'll be good.
I have the financial resources to give, not myself personally, but I have connections with companies that will come in and say, this house, most seniors own their houses free and clear. So I have the financial connections for them to say they're going to talk to this company. They're going to, basically give them money that they need to move, and then they'll recoup their money once the house sells.
All right, that's good to know. Because I think sometimes a lot of decisions are based upon
the right now
things, moving pieces. Man.
I am so super strategic on how I designed my business, because I knew and know that a lot of people don't necessarily care to work with seniors, because you have to have the patience of God, and a lot of times you have to have a substantial amount of patience. But I understand, I can't imagine being faced with that. You're basically having to surrender
Yeah.
You know, and that's hard. You know, okay, I have to accept that I can't live here anymore. It's not safe for me, and I need to make a decision. That decision is not an overnight decision. You know, and I'm sure that they wrestle with it back and forth. You know, hey, I can do this for another year, but it does leave them so vulnerable for danger.
Yeah.
Like this lady who I'm referencing to, she lives alone at 86 years old. She has 3 flights of steps. She has to go down the basement to wash her clothes. I mean, it's just not ideal. And they always say, you know, you got to take your emotions out of it. It's impossible for me. Yeah. Like, I'm more concerned about their safety than I am a lot of other things. You know, their safety matters. You know, I can't imagine, you know, my mother, one of the things that started triggering me to be very concerned is she kept falling. Mm. And one night, that same summer, she called me, and it was like 2:30 in the morning. And she was like, I need you to come here. Why? It's 2:30 in the morning. I'm on the ground. Okay. Mm. And I cannot get up. I'm stuck in between the bed and the dresser. Me and my husband going down, you know, 695 to go get her off the floor. And guess what? We got there and couldn't get her up because we had to call you, the fire department.
That's the 2 o'clock Nicole morning. It's like guaranteed. Every night it's like,
yes. Oh.
So, but the last one that I ran, one of the last one I ran, like, man, it's late. I'm like, why? I'm like, why are you up? Mm-hmm. She falls down the steps. Mm-hmm. She gets like twisted up in a walker at the bottom of the steps. Mm. She pooped herself. Oh, because she was scared. And it's like, there's no way for you to get her up off the floor without getting your hands dirty, without, you know, like, grab some towels. And I definitely feel as though once you get to a certain age, there's certain things that you might have to retake. Yes. Driver's test. Oh my God. Let's get rid of these driver's licenses.
I think that, and again, it's for everybody's safety. If you got your license at 18, 19, 20 years old, and now you're 75, the rules are not the same. Yeah. And oh my God, I'm telling you, I could be sitting here for days. My last time with driving with her, my mom, I was squeezing my butt cheeks the entire.
See, my mom won't drive. So I can't let her drive me. Like, it's like I'm driving. Like, in her vehicle. She
fought me tooth and nail, right? I'm telling you, I was taking her to the doctors. She had, has hip issues, mobility issues. She said that getting in the car on the driver's side was easiest for her. And
she told you that.
She told me that.
She lied to you. She's like, I'm driving my car.
I was praying. So we go to the doctors, right? We get in the doctors. I help her out the car. I'm still nervous. So I'm telling you, I'm like, oh Jesus, please. I'm raising. Still got one more. I got one more. I got the older 2, but I still got one more. I can't. I know.
About the end.
I felt like it was going to be over. We get to the doctors. We get back in the car. She had her appointment. We get back in the car. It starts raining. And it wasn't
pull over. Pull over. No.
It was not regular rain, right? It was an entire tsunami. It was, and she's like, oh, I got cataracts. I can't see. And we were on Northern Parkway. I'm like, I couldn't even talk. I closed my eyes at that point because she wouldn't get out the car to let me drive. When we pulled up, finally, when I opened my eyes, we were finally at her driveway. I said, thank you, Jesus. I'm talking about, I was like, and when we got out the car, I said, you are never driving me anywhere again. Ever. Ever, ever. So yes, that's a whole nother situation, but yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because my grandmother passed last June. Mm. She got into an accident. Mm. She didn't pass away in an accident, okay. But she wound up running into a wall, which she ended up like breaking her, like breaking her knee. I'm gonna say it was her knee. Then that whole healing process with as far as the infection, they have to go through rehab and that, and yeah. I could see it took a lot out of her, even though she had was definitely like had I would say not high hopes, but she was in good spirits or whatever, and she recovered. That time taken away from the quality of life that she, could have had
Was
those,
used to. Yeah.
And the driver's license, and I want to say she was like 85 at that time.
Okay.
85, 86. And she passed away at 90. So,
okay.
But driver's license.
Yeah. House
with stairs.
Yeah.
We need ranchers.
Yep. And even, you know what it does though now, like even us, we need to be considering those things if we are making new purchases when it comes to homes. The average mortgage is 30 years. We just talked about it. We 40. So I mean, if we wanted to buy a house, we want to buy a new house now.
I don't know if I'm ever like the whole forever home thing is. I don't know if that's like in my. Well,
I think with our generation, the forever homes have dwindled because they already say like millennial. We don't stay in homes for as long as our parents did.
I want a spot in Belize. I want a spot here.
Me too. Me too. So we don't stay in homes as long, but it is something that if people are still looking for that forever home or that generational wealth to pass their home down to their children, if you are in a certain age bracket, you need to be considering how old are you now and how old will you be when you pay that house off, because that's one of the things that has always been passed down to us as far as the mindset to get that generational home, get that. But think about it, think about that. That's not something that you think about later. It's something that you think about now.
All right. So you have a wide array in this tool belt. I mean, I guess we've already gone down the path of how you decided to pull it together. And it makes sense. It actually has brought I feel as though that's a comforting feeling to know that these things are conveniently in one place. What gives you the passion to want to really help the seniors, help these families navigate this time period in their lives? So
I've always been a person to love seniors. It's been in me since I was a kid with my grandfather. I have no idea why. Like everybody, I was the favorite grandkid.
Oh, of course. And then it's like, that's where it started, right?
Right. I was favorite because I would listen to his stories.
Oh, those stories.
Most people, my cousins, like, I don't want to hear about Ford. I don't want to hear about how you grew up. I would be sitting there like, tell me more. And I'm still like that. Most people, you know how people love babies. They see babies. Oh, that baby's cute. I'm not that person. Oh, I see an old person. You can ask my husband, oh my God, let me get the door for him. Oh my God. Like he looking at me.
You see her hair?
Oh, it's so cute. That's me with a senior. I don't know why I'm like that, but I just find that they have so much wisdom. And every time, like I was working with a couple last week who they just sold their home. Well, I helped them sell their home. And they told me they were married for 57 years. Now, I want to know how you get there. Like, I want to know what holds the glue together to have two people be married for so long, and what does that look like? Give me the gems. So I find so much value in seniors. It drives me in a sense of, I feel like seniors, their last years should be their best years. They busted their tail all their lives to take care of us, to take care of our parents, to take care so much. Like, why not have their last years be their best years? And when I walk into some of these facilities, I'm like, I want to live here now. How do I get here?
You must be talking about that joint out on Falls Road. That joint you must be talking about that joint. Like,
I mean, it's so many. There's one in Brandywine. Remember we talked?
That's.
They got a pool. I mean, the bar. They got happy hour. Like, I mean, it's so many. To be honest, I network with a lot of facilities that you ain't gotta wash your clothes. Like, please, I'm struggling with half of that stuff now. So if I can get a senior to find value in actually themselves, because a lot of seniors don't even find themselves worthy of that.
Well, I got something for you. Now that you said that, because I had something come to me, and I'm like, so I try not to overdo what it is that I'm doing, and I'm like, I would love to be able to get senior stories.
Oh,
So I came up with a name
okay.
called the wisdom seat. And you said all the words in which like, I'm like, that's the wisdom seat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I actually
love that. And I'm be borrowing that from you. Okay.
That's yours.
Well,
That's
I'm
yours.
going to have you interview some of my clients, so that way you.
No, you're going to interview the clients.
Okay.
I mean, I do love senior stories.
Yeah.
I really want to. I want to see that. I want to see how that, even if it's a co-host type thing.
Yeah, let's tag in. I'll tag you in.
The wisdom seat.
Okay.
The wisdom seat, because I definitely feel as though a lot of stories get lost.
Yes.
Through the generation, for the next generation. One of the biggest things that happened was my grandmother passing, like I said, last June, and one of my daughters was like upset, like very upset, and I was like, I never got to ask her. You know, she wanted to ask her a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
My grandmother is actually Portuguese.
Oh, okay.
And just the stories, because she actually has, a number of sisters, family members, like they've all passed on, and it's just like the stories from her childhood, and like I was like, and I have no like,
how to get those back. Yeah.
Those stories are, I would say they're lost. Like my aunt, she knows, some of the stories or whatever, but there are still some locked away stories that didn't make it out. So,
and I think that.
So the wisdom seat,
y'all, we coming for it, okay? But I think that seniors I'm not even gonna say seniors. They're even myself. Like, there are things that I forget to tell my kids. My mother, I never forget. Now, this is women stuff, but my doctor asked me did my mother have a history of fibroids? I'm looking at him like, I don't think so. She never told me. So after she asked me that, I went and asked her, and my mother's like, yeah.
Like, that'd be something you might want to tell us.
Something you supposed to tell me. Like, I don't understand. Like, why do I not know this? But now I realize I do the same thing with my kids. But it's just because they don't look at it as if they're doing anything different than anybody else. So, for us, it's intriguing, and we want to know. So we have to know the right questions to ask. Just they'll answer them if we ask them, but they don't know that they're supposed to even tell us those things. So sitting them down and asking those valid questions, or those questions that we want answers to, is the only way that we're going to get it out of them.
Right, like do. We talking too loud? Say
right.
No, but
yeah.
But yeah, I definitely feel as though having the question, but asking questions while still having the right state of mind, or still being able to share the stories, because there are a lot of stories as to like how let's say I get older, how me and my wife actually got together.
Right.
Like, my kids know the story, they know it now,
right?
But we'll have to tell them again. And they'll have a better understanding, as they get older, of it. And it's like, oh, well, this makes sense, because I know a lot of stuff. One big thing, I swear to goodness, is like, when we were kids, I could have, I knew my parents had this together. I was like, they was
figuring it out just like we were.
They are figuring it, because I know I'm flying by the seat of my pants right now. So, but the thing, we have so many more resources now. And
we do.
Nuts.
But that is true. And that's another reason why seniors don't know how to prepare to get old. Nobody gave them the resources. I literally pride this business myself into actually caring enough about giving them the resources to help people plan to get older. Nobody is telling us this.
Nobody. Truly
saddens me about how much people don't know how to get old. They don't know. I'm telling you, we could be sitting here till tomorrow morning, and we definitely don't prepare. No, but we don't know how to prepare. It is not something that is really spoken of, and I don't know if old is considered something shameful, but we have to take that stigma out of getting older?
It's beyond getting older. Like I'm not sure if we feel as though we gonna be the one that shake death.
That's impossible, but okay.
But we actually, it's crazy that we always come to these. I'm gonna say come to Jesus moments when a close person passes that's close to us, and then it's like now we want to do these things that are it's like, oh, I always wanted to start a business, I always wanted to travel here. It's like all these you're inspired to do around that, or the decline. It's like we need to start taking care of stuff a little bit more proactively. So.
And that's my biggest point. I know that a lot of times there's another person that I'm working with, and she toggling between doing something about her mom's situation or not. I know that if she doesn't do something soon, it's going to be that emergency situation that I typically run into. And while we have the chance to, not to have to make that emergency choice, I can't tell you, even if you just like have the resources available to you when it's time to make that decision, or at least know to call me, I just can't express the importance of it, enough. It is a terrifying experience. And I like I said, I only know because I've been in that seat. It is not fun. It's not easy. It's very stressful. There's a lot of tears. There's a lot of resentment on both ends, both from I had resentment. My mother had resentment. I had to get counseling because I was pissed because I told my mother this was going to happen, but because she needed to still have that level of control, she told me to mind my business. But then I felt like, but now you need me to do this, and now my life stops. I'm still raising children. I still have an almost 13-year-old. My life cannot stop. A lot of what happened fell on my husband. And it was just a completely, in my opinion, unfair situation. So thank God, I recommended her to get counseling. I got counseling, she got counseling, and we were able to mend that situation. But there's a lot that is involved when you have to make an emergency decision.
I think we good.
Yeah.
So how can people reach you? Like, what are your social media tags? Do you have any like grand launches coming up? What's going on with Erika right now?
So Ryan, I know you know me from high school, and you probably remember, I'm a natural born problem solver. So as I have been in the communities, as I have been, listening to people's stories, I have just collaborated entire different business plans, still focusing on senior placement and also real estate. However, there are a lot of other problems that need to be solved, and I will be relaunching in the next few months with a different name, with a different more amenities for seniors to be able to have that one-stop shop. Another thing that seniors do is surf the internet. That's a whole different conversation. They need to stop surfing the internet. They need to, because it's dangerous for them. They don't know what they're clicking on. They don't know what they're putting their information into. There are a lot of companies out here that will sell their information. So
targeting.
Listen, if you got a parent that likes the internet, let them know to stop surfing the internet, because they don't know what URL they clicking on to. They don't know. So they think it's a safe place, but it is not a safe place. I'm going to fix that problem.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
So what's your social media handles? How can people find you? What's your website?
Beyond Success. If you even type it in Google, I show up straight. I'm the top of the search.
She ain't hard to find, is what she's telling me.
I'm not hard to find. You're going to find me either in real estate or placement, Beyond Success. I'm on LinkedIn as well under Erika McCullough, but also Beyond Success is on LinkedIn too. I have Instagram, and that is also Beyond Success. I do have TikTok. I do, but as a realtor, of course, you can visit me there as well. Right. I guess when we post, we'll put my phone number or whatever we need.
Yeah. All that stuff will be tagged in the description of this video.
Yes.
If you're looking for Miss Erika McCullough with Beyond Success. Looking forward to seeing this thing unfold. Some things went untalked about today. We will definitely be rolling some things out. Definitely looking forward to continued growth, continued success.
And our
beyond
partnership,
success.
right?
And
our
the partnership,
Yep.
creative partnership.
Yep.
And growing these legacies and these businesses.
Yeah.
So one more thing. What do you feel it takes to be a brand hustler?
I would say it takes dedication, patience, the ability to understand that you're going to make mistakes, and honestly, the commitment and drive. With everything that happened with my mom, I got sidetracked for a second. It takes, honestly, for you to be selfish to a certain extent, because you have to decide that you're worth it. You have to decide that, when God gives you a vision, you're going to act on that vision. And there is no procrastination in it. It's all gas, no brakes until you get to where you need to be. And I'm not saying it has to look like a 24/7 operation, but it absolutely means that you have to be willing to sacrifice some things of yourself. I have friends that they're like, I don't hear from you no more. Because at this point, if we ain't talking about real estate and we ain't talking about how to get some money, I don't really got nothing to talk about right now. I'm sorry. It's just where I am. And I love everybody. And, I understand that. But it does take, some sacrifice. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of sacrifice, to be honest. So, yep.
Well, there you have it. Miss Erika McCullough, Beyond Success.
All right.
Appreciate you, Brand Hustlers, for tuning in to yet another episode of the Brand Hustlers. It's your boy Ryan Roundtree, also known as Tree the Creator. We'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.
Thank you.
You've been tuning in to the Brand Hustlers podcast, the sanctuary for ambition, innovation, and the relentless spirit of entrepreneurship. We hope today's journey has fueled your passion, sparked your curiosity, and given you the insights you need to take your brand to new heights. Remember, every big achievement starts with a dream and the courage to hustle for it. Don't miss our next episode where we uncover more stories, strategies, and insights from the world of business. Till then, keep hustling, stay inspired, and turn your vision into victory. Thank you for listening, and remember, your brand's legacy starts right now.